Hey guys, and welcome to another video. In this video, I've compiled as much raid information as I can into a single video, try to keep it as short as possible. As you can see on screen, there are timestamps. Feel free to click them if you want to move to another part of the video. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoy. Video starts at 20 seconds. Raids are a new PvM experience coming to Oldschool Runescape in early 2017, with mentions of raids coming to Oldschool as of mid-2014, along with Zaya. This update is long awaited. Now known as the Chambers of Xeric, they will probably be heavily tied into the lore of Zaya and in specific, the Dark Altar. The entrance for these chambers will be located to the southwest on Zaya. The land here is known as Mount Quitamortis. While we don't have all the information quite yet, I decided to make a video compiling all the information that we do have so that the community has time to properly prepare for this epic adventure. This video will include slight speculation, so don't take my word for everything. Within raids, you will encounter puzzles, boss fights, and resources. There should be a total of 6 bosses. There is Ohm, Vespula, Vasanistero, Tecton, the Lava Lobster Squid, and the Crocodile. Throughout the raid, you will encounter all bosses at random, except for who will always be fought at the end of the raid. So you may not actually get all of the sub-bosses while you're doing a single raid. While we don't have much information on boss mechanics, I did want to mention how Vespula might work due to how confident I am with the given information. In August, Modghost mentioned on stream that there was a caterpillar-type monster that would have to be protected from a boss within raids.
It's what you've got to protect as part of this boss, basically. I can't tell you more than that, but you just have to look after these guys and make sure they don't get hurt. Ooh. And if we move to the next image, we'll show you what you're protecting them from. There we go. So
on the stream from December 8th, he showed Vespula's room and mentioned the caterpillars again, and he said that these were going to be involved in the boss fight. He also mentioned that there were some plants in the corner that would play a role with the boss. If the information from August is still true, it appears that you may have to feed the plants to the caterpillars to help keep them alive while you are killing Vespula.
So we've got a portal to the abyss just there. We've got Vespula and these strange caterpillars which are yet to be animated and positioned properly, but they are getting there. So you can all speculate as to how this will pan out. We've also got some odd plants in the corner just here which will come into play at some point too.
Throughout the raid, skills will be required to increase the speed at which you complete your raid. Firstly, you will be able to fish and hunt for food to sustain you and your party throughout the raid. There will be trees that will probably be used with fire making to cook food and with fletching to make traps for hunter. Also located throughout the raid will be farming patches in which you can plant new herbs found throughout the dungeon to create new potions. On screen now is a screenshot from Mod Kieran showing off these new potions. A lot of these potions might look familiar, but I won't speculate too much on what exactly will be available in raids. However, it has been confirmed that ranging potions and magic potions will offer defense boosts as well as their normal boosts. Secondly, overloads will be in raids. Kieran stated that there will be different tiers of overloads depending on your Herblore level. Finally, we're going to talk about how dungeons work and some of the puzzles that we know of thus far. So in regards to how dungeons work, very few things can be said with confidence, but those are that there will be a main path in the dungeon. There will also be shortcut paths within the dungeon, and these paths will exist in the same room as main paths. There will be no dead ends like there was in Dungeoneering. Strength, mining, and woodcutting will absolutely be a requirement for these shortcuts, depending on which one you get. Only one person needs to open these shortcuts before the team can use them. Okay, so next up we're going to talk about actual data when it comes to using these shortcuts and the stats required. I'm going to go on kind of a ramble here, but at the end I'll have like some bullet points that are very important for you to know if you are planning to do raids in January. So I was going through the rooms and I was trying to find, make sure I covered all the rooms in this video that I could, and I noticed that there was a boulder that I could move. And I had 99 strength and I was able to move the boulder without any issue. So I figured there was probably other shortcuts that I just couldn't notice because these shortcuts, as you can see on the screen, they do fit in with the environment very, very easily. And lo and behold, I found a tree next. And I tried to woodcut the tree, but it said that I needed 94 woodcutting and I currently had 93. So either that is a bug or it proves that you can boost your stats within the raids, which is kind of cool. And so the next thing is, I figured if you didn't need to boost if you had 99, but you needed to boost if you had 93. I wonder how it would work with other people. So I called over Thanks. I'll link his Twitter in the description below. He really did help me out with this data collecting, so to speak. And we pulled in either 2 or 3 accounts into the raids with either similar stats or different stats in strength, woodcutting, and mining. And we basically just walked through the dungeon until we found a shortcut, and we attempted to use that shortcut, and we found out what the requirement was. So the data is on screen here, as you can see. There's a bunch of different ones, and what it appears is that when you join into a dungeon, it'll take your stats, it'll average them together, and it'll randomly either subtract 1 or 2, or add 1 or 2, or it'll just keep it as an actual average, and that will be the requirement for the shortcuts. One thing I should mention is, as I said before, you only need one person to open these shortcuts before everyone can use them, because it's as simple as cutting down a tree, mining away a rock, or pushing away a boulder. So basically, the point that I'm trying to get here is it may be beneficial to have one max player in your party, because they may be able to do these shortcuts for everybody, and then everybody can use them with ease. It is kind of weird how it currently works, because you have, again, if you have, as you can see, the first one's strength 99, the second account has level 1, and the third account has level 1. The requirement ends up being 35, and the average is 33. So it's kind of weird how that works, because even though the requirement is 35, still only one account can do it. So it's going to be it's going to be something that you want to pay attention to when you're joining a raiding party. But again, you won't need full max players if you're trying to efficiently do dungeons, really. But at the same time, it might be beneficial to have at least one max player, or at least one player that has 99 in one of those stats. And I should also mention really quickly that what we just talked about was only shortcuts. It doesn't actually involve the skilling puzzles that exist within raids. One thing that Ash mentioned was that the thing that he disliked about dungeoneering was that if somebody left the party, the rest of the group potentially couldn't complete the dungeon, because they may have had the stats required to open doors. So in my opinion, I think most of the puzzles will not require a certain level, and if anything, a level may help you complete the room faster, but I don't think it's going to be a hard requirement for the main path, as we discussed earlier. I think skills are only going to matter when it comes to the shortcuts. And really quickly, we're going to speculate on a few things. So the first thing is that agility may actually be used for a shortcut requirement. Now, if it is a requirement, I don't think it'll enable for opening shortcuts for a team. It's possible that it might, but I'm highly doubtful of it. But if you look on screen, you can see here there's a room, and there's a long way around, and then there's a huge gap in the floor. And I'm assuming that if you have the proper agility level, you'll be able to jump over that gap. The next thing is that there appears to be some awkward wall sets in certain corridors in the dungeon. If you look on screen, you can see that now as well. Clearly, these rooms were not made on accident. They seem very purposeful and small, and I think that's because these awkward wall sets that have these weird indentions in the wall might be something similar to blow dart traps, so you'll probably need to disable those with thieving if you want to avoid some damage. And finally, we're going to talk about the actual puzzles. So the puzzles so far that we know of are the ice room, the keystone room, the altars room, the chest room, and the crystals room. In regard to the ice room, it appears that there's ice fiends that attack the braziers, and that you must keep the braziers lit with logs from the trees in the hallways prior to the puzzle. You may need to kill the ice fiends to do this properly. Ash hinted at combat with the frozen NPC blocking the door, so you may need to fight him after he is unfrozen or as you're melting him. Next up is the Keystone Room. It may require a certain agility level, as it does have a rope balance, but as I mentioned before, I think higher agility might help with this room, but I don't think there will be any requirement. Once you get over the rope balance, you will have access to the keystone, and that keystone probably needs to be placed somewhere within the room, and it's possible that it goes on the statue of Xeric to open the door. And then we have the altars room. This may be similar to the vine room in dungeoneering, which required woodcutting and farming, but it could also be similar to the ghost Ramoki rooms within dungeoneering. More than likely it is a puzzle of sort though, due to the maze layout of the room. I do know that previously ModGhost said on Twitter that this room was simply for, kind of like a graphical effect. There was no use of it. But because of the new layout of it, it appears to be a maze, and I think it'll probably be a puzzle because of that. Next, we have the chess room. So this room was tweeted out by Ash really early on as the scavenge room, essentially. But the scavenge was only a placeholder for the NPC that was going to be protecting the room, so to speak. There is now a dead caretaker on the ground, so it appears that this NPC is dangerous. The chests have been confirmed to be based on levels, and they do give resources, so you may not be able to loot every single one, but someone on your team might be able to, and I'm assuming the higher level thieving you have, the better rewards that you'll get out of these chests to use within raids. You may also have to avoid the wandering NPC or risk taking damage, similar to the secret maze rooms in Dungeoneering. And lastly, we have the crystal room. So this room does contain gemmed rock crabs as well. It was tweeted out by Ash. You can see that on the screen here. You possibly have to use skills such as crafting or mining to retrieve these gems to charge the crystals within the room, and it may be extremely similar to the potions room in Dungeoneering. One thing that I do want to mention is a way that this could basically be based on the level that you have is, let's say that you have a low mining level or a low crafting level, so you fail picking the gem off the rock crab. Let's say that the rock crab dies and you may have to wait for it to respawn. This is why high levels might be beneficial within raids, but not required. And that's going to be it for the video, guys. I think I've included pretty much everything that there is to include. This took me hours to produce, and I want to thank my friend Larry for having, just being someone to kind of throw ideas between for what these certain things in raids might be. And again, I want to thanks for taking the time to come with me and bring his alt and test out how the stats might work and the scaling and requirements and everything for raids. So again, huge thanks to those guys. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I really enjoyed making this video. I love making videos like this, honestly, and hopefully I can make more in the future. This is the first one I've ever used any editing, so to speak. I know it's probably pretty amateur, but I again really had fun with it. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Hope you found it useful. If you did, feel free to like the video. Feel free to subscribe for future videos like this. And other than that, I will see you guys next time with another video.